Hello and welcome to Finance Conversation. This is the third episode of the Merging Life and Money Show, and I am super excited to be here with you today. If we are meeting for the first time, I am your host, Marie-Jo César, and I am happy that you could join in today. Welcome, welcome, and welcome. I come to you live every Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to share valuable information about how to achieve financial wellness from the inside out and live your life with means and meaning. Today's show is the second in the series titled How to Build a How to Build a Secure Financial Plan. And I will be exploring step 2 of this plan, which is create a written zero-based budget. So let us start. Grab a pen and a notebook, as I will be sharing tips and ideas that you might want to write down. If you have any questions or any comments, make sure to put them in the chat. And if you want to talk to me directly, I will share my contact information at the end of the show. Last week, we talked about recognizing the blind spots, sabotaging your financial decision, and changing your mindset. Did you get a chance to think about it? Did you identify any? And what will you change? So if you did, put it in the chat and I would be happy to reach out to you after the show. So what behaviors or beliefs do you need to change? What new habits do you need to cultivate? Well, today I will talk about cultivating a budgeting habit. Love it or hate it, if you want to be financially successful, you need to budget your money. Budgeting is very important. It is the process of creating a plan to spend your money. Remember what I said the last time, when you fail to plan, it's just like planning to fail. So creating this spending plan allows you to determine in advance whether you will have enough money to do the things that you need to do or would like to do. So following a budget or a spending plan will also keep you out of debt or help you work your way out of debt if you are currently in debt. So the process of budgeting does not have to be difficult or complicated, by the way. You just need to create a system that works for you. It helps keeping your spending in check. It tracks your expenses and teaches you to control your money and not have it control you. Also, it allows you to enjoy life without the stress of how to pay for it later. Because as you know, later never comes. So paying for things in the present instead of the future allows you to truly enjoy yourself and live the life you want. People will often allow their emotion to cloud their judgment when it comes to planning their finances. But if you look at your money objectively for what it really is, a tool, then it is easier to make your plans. Once you decide what your priorities are, your budget should reflect them. So, how do you make a budget? There are many ways in which you can budget. The method you choose is entirely up to you. The most important part is picking a style that works for your life. Trust me, even if you currently hate budgeting, there is a style out there for you. Finding what works for you is the most important step, because no one else, not everyone's brains processes information in the same way. So you got to do it. Okay. So the most important thing is just do it. If one doesn't work for you, try a different one. I personally use the zero-based budgeting method. It also happens to be Dave Ramsey's budgeting method of choice. Unlike other budgeting method, it allows you to account for every dollar you earn, as well as every expense, every debt payment, every penny you put into your savings, so you know exactly where your money is going each month. This method is life-changing, particularly for people who are used to feeling like their money is out of control. It is very effective because it makes you be intentional with every dollar, so that what is left does not disappear every month. What are the steps to make a zero-based budget from scratch? Well, creating a budget, as I said, does not require any advanced math or sophisticated formulas. All you need is a pencil, a sheet of paper, a calculator, and a small dose of common sense, which sometimes is not always common, right? Step one, add up all your monthly income, okay? List all your income from each and every source, including your paychecks, if you receive child support, if you receive alimony, business income, side hustle earnings, rental income, any sort of income that you get. If it is money that you find that finds its way to you and in your bank account, that is income. So your budget should be based upon your net income. So that is your income after tax, state and federal, after all your employer's deduction as well. Second step, track your spending. Now that you know your income figure, make a projection of your anticipated monthly expenses before the new month even begins. Write them all down. Be sure to start with the 4 walls first. Okay, so what are the 4 walls? Food, utilities, shelter, and transportation. It is helpful to use categories to sort your spending. This might seem a little daunting, but it is worth the extra little bit of effort. Okay, a quick note about the budget categories. There are many. So just ask Google. Do a Google search, not very difficult. Plug in budget categories. You have a host of them in there. I recommend, however, that you use the categories that represent areas of significant expense in your budget. So by categorizing your spending, you will know where you can make adjustment, and you will be able to identify what you are spending the most money on, and where it might be the easiest to cut back, because you may have to do that. Begin by listing all your fixed expenses. They are regular monthly bills such as rent or mortgage, utilities, or your car note. It is unlikely that you'll be able to cut back on these, but knowing how much of your monthly income they take up is very helpful. Then list all your variable expenses, though that the one that may change from month to month, such as groceries, gas, entertainment. And this is an area where you might find opportunities to cut back if you need to. Also, list your seasonal expenses like Christmas and birthdays and anniversaries. Next thing to think about is all your irregular expenses that can pop up. So plan for those as well, right? So things like car tag renewal fees, property taxes, HOA dues, and even your insurance premium can be budgeted for ahead of time. So if you set aside a little bit each month, you won't feel the strain of an expense suddenly blindsiding you all at once. In order to start, pull your credit card and your bank statements and also receipts. They are really a good place to start since they often itemize or even categorize your monthly expenditures. Step number 3, add up your total expenses and subtract them from your total income. Remember, the goal of a zero-based budget is for the final number to equal 0, but it may not happen the first time. So it would take you a little bit of practice. So if your final number is negative, that means you probably have a spending problem. Of course, this can be corrected by adjusting your spending on the non-fixed expenses that I mentioned earlier. If you are having trouble cutting expenses to achieve a zero-based budget, this could mean that you need to take steps to make more money or pick up a side hustle or get a second job or something. On the other hand, if you still have money left over at the end of the month, this is actually a good problem to have and one that can be solved very quickly. The difference can be added to your emergency fund. You could also use it to pay off debt, invest in your kids' college fund, or start a sinking fund. And for those of you who don't know what a sinking fund is, it's an account designed to save for specific future purchases. It is different from your emergency fund. Let me say that because those funds are earmarked for an anticipated purpose, while your emergency fund exists to cover non-anticipated expenses. Step 4, check your spending percentages to identify which expense categories may be adjusted. I mentioned earlier that you should categorize your expenses, and the chosen categories must represent area of significant expense in your budget. Here are some spending categories and their typical ranges in relation to total income. You have giving and charity. I mean, that could be anywhere between 0 to 10%. Your savings typically should be between 10 to 15%. Housing should be between 25 to 35%. Your utilities between 5 to 10%. Your food between 5 to 15%. And it's a host of other categories as well, but I'm only going to give you those few. If you want to know more about expense categories and their recommended range, type expense categories in the chat and I will get back to you. Your numbers may or may not fall neatly within the ranges that I just stated. They are just suggestions, right, for a healthy budget. there is always room for give and take, particularly if you are a very low or very high income earner. As long as your total percentages add up to 100%, that's what matters. Remember that with a zero-based budget, every dollar must have a name. That doesn't mean you have $0 in your bank account at the end of the month. It just means you have $0 left over in your budget. Step 5, track your spending throughout the month. It is the only way you will know if your spending lines up with your plan. This is how you will start winning with money throughout the month, and then all year long, and then for a lifetime. When you track your expenses and you are intentional with your money, you will be able to make progress and see that you are reaching your goals. Okay, so why do I prefer a zero-based budget? Why is it important? Having a budget, which is your detailed spending plan, is the quickest way to make your money goals a reality, no matter where you are at on your journey. Trying to get out of debt, you need a budget. Saving up for a safety net, you need a budget. Wanting to put money away for retirement, you need a budget. You're already a millionaire, guess what? You still need a budget. So remember, you are the one in control of your own budget. You get to tell every single dollar exactly where to go each month. And don't think of it as limiting your freedom, okay? Having a budget actually gives you the freedom to spend money on purpose. And budgeting makes your money go further. Remember that there are only 4 things that can be done with money. You can spend it, you can pay off your debts with it, you can save it, and you could give it away. So a budget actually defends your priorities from casual wishes, and it helps to differentiate between the two. It makes every dollar count. Okay, so I'm going to stop here for today, and I'm going to try and recap today's show. So again, I addressed the step 2 of the financial planning process, which is create a budget that works for you. And I focused on the zero-based budgeting method. A few takeaways. You must know how much money your household earns and spends each month. Okay? If you are spending more than you make, adjust the budget so that your income and your outgo equal 0. If you have a surplus, assign it to a line item in your budget. Wherever you put it, it's up to you. Do not just go and spend it. You are the CEO of your life. You are the boss of your budget. You get to decide where every dollar goes. And in closing, I selected a quote from Benjamin Franklin, and it reads, "Beware of little expenses. A small leak will sink a great ship." Okay, so I did promise to give you my contact information. So you can reach me by sending me an email at mj@mariejocaesar.com. That's mj@mariejocaesar.com, or by sending me a DM, a direct message via Messenger. For more information about how to build a secure financial plan, join me next week, Thursday at 5 p.m. PST, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and 9 p.m. Atlantic Time. I will be talking about step 3, eliminate your debt. Thank you for being here today on the Merging Life and Money Show. I am your host, Marie-Jo César. I will be back again next week. Until then, continue merging life and money. Bye for now.